Hello bookworms, I'm Becca. This is going to be my video talking about the books that I want to read during the month of June. But before we get into the video, I feel like I need to briefly touch on the current situation in America and throughout the world right now. I am not very good at putting my thoughts into words, but I am so angry and sad at everything that is going on. Honestly, everything that has happened lately is so fucked up and I'm over it. Like, I'm just over it. I'm upset that it has even happened. I'm upset that it has taken this long for people to get this angry to want to make a change. Like, I'm just so sad and so frustrated, and I wish that there was more that I could do, but unfortunately, we're in quarantine on top of all of this, so the very least that I'm doing is signing petitions and trying to educate myself, because I know that I can do better and I want to be a better ally in the future, more than just reading diverse books, which I try to do all year round. I've really spent this time trying to educate myself, and I will continue to educate myself. I want to be a better person, and that is the absolute least that I can do in this situation, and I strongly urge you all to do the same. So there will be a lot of resources down below in the description of people that talk about this issue on BookTube and in the world in general, and do it in a much more eloquent way than I can. I don't know what else to say about it. So there's going to be playlists with Black booktubers that were created by a Black booktuber named Miana. She is amazing and wonderful. And another thing that I'm just sad about is that all of these Black creators are suddenly getting more subscribers and followers because of this. That's all I'm gonna say. And I feel like, as a cis white woman, I only have so much that I can add to the conversation, not only with the Black Lives Matter movement, but also with the J.K. Rowling situation that is also just so upsetting to me. As a member of the LGBT community and having lots of friends that are very near and dear to my heart that are part of the trans community, I am so sad and hurt that this person that is supposed to have written this amazing series that have changed people's lives is a big flaming pile of garbage. And she has been for a very long time. I know that you guys will probably notice that I do still have all of my stuff on my shelf for the Harry Potter series, but just know in the future that I will not be giving any more money to this woman, because it is ridiculous. It is utterly ridiculous that we are in the year 2020 and this stuff is still continuing to happen. I'm over it. I'm over it. And if I'm over it, the people that it's directly affecting, I can't even imagine, and I cannot even begin to imagine how tired of all of this they are. So, even though I am a big proponent of separating the art from the artist, I feel like it still needed to be said, because these things will still be on my shelf. I have my own personal reasons because of that go beyond just childhood nostalgia, and I don't really want to get into it at this point in time. This isn't the time, this isn't the space for it, but if you have concerns for that, feel free to talk to me in private and I will let you know. But in the future, I'm not going to be supporting this person. I will not be recommending these books in any videos. I don't want any money to go towards this piece of trash person. So those are my thoughts and feelings on the current events in the world. Like I said, there are going to be a lot of different videos of creators in the community that I think can speak on these issues a lot better than I could ever hope to, and I am so blessed that we have these people in our community because they make it great. So That being said, let's get into the books that I'm reading in June. June is Pride Month, and I always strive to read queer lit, but it is kind of fun to lift it up a little bit more in June. But especially this year, I'm going to be taking part in the Queer Blackathon that was created by Jessie from Bow Ties and Books. It is taking place on Juneteenth, and this year for 48 hours, we are trying to read as many Black queer stories as possible. I have 2 that are picked out. I wish that I owned more, and that's on me. That's honestly on me, and I'm trying to do better. In Jessie's video, they have a ton of recommendations, and I've already added a bunch of them to my list to be able to buy and support more Black authors. So I will make sure to leave Jessie's video for Queer Blackathon and Queer Black book recommendations in the description with everything else. So this readathon is taking place on Juneteenth, June 19th. And like I said, I have 2 books. The first book that I have picked out is Felix Ever After by Case and Calendar. This is a young adult book with a trans main character named Felix who wants nothing more than to fall in love and just wants to know why it seems so easy for everyone around him to find love and why it is so hard for him. He starts getting these transphobic messages after being dead named and shown pictures of him pre-transition, and when he sparks a plan for revenge, it ends up turning into a quasi-love triangle. So it just sounds like it's going to be a really interesting book. I'm interested to see how the story unfolds. It really sounds like it's going to be a story with a lot of layers about identity and finding yourself and falling in love and probably falling in love with yourself. So I'm here for it. And the second book that I want to read for the Queer Blackathon is If You Come Softly by Jacqueline Woodson. Even though this is not a queer story, Jacqueline Woodson is a queer author, and this book has been on my shelf for far too long. I don't know much about it, but I do know that it is about an interracial relationship between Jeremiah and Ellie at their prep school. So it's a short one, and I'm interested to see how it all unfolds. I was just checking. Sometimes some of Jacqueline Woodson's books are written in verse, and this one is not. This one is written in prose. So I'm interested to finally read it. Isn't that cover so pretty? I'm excited for this one. So those are the ones I'm reading for Queer Blackathon, but I have a lot of other queer stories that I would love to get to in the month of June. I'm going to talk about all of the young adult books first and then close out the video with 2 middle grade books that I'm really looking forward to. The first one that I'm excited to get into is The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. This follows a boy named Kale, and his dad has just been picked for a highly publicized NASA mission to Mars. Say that 10 times fast, let me tell ya. And so he and his family have to completely relocate from New York to Texas, and they're kind of thrust into the spotlight and have to pretend like they're the perfect all-American family. That is until Kale meets Leon, whose mom is one of the other astronauts on the mission, and they fall in love. You had me at space, honestly. I love a book about space, so I'm interested to see what this story entails. The cover looks super cute, and it is blurbed by Becky Albertalli. We love to see it. Next up is Stay Gold by Topley McSmith. This is another own voices story with a trans main character, which I'm so excited for. And Alex just recently read this book and told me that I needed to read it. I'm highly looking forward to it. It is a really nice nod to The Outsiders, which I have never read, but there's that. And it's about a trans boy named Pony who is trying to go stealth at his new school after facing unwanted attention at his previous school when he came out as transgender. So he really is just trying to fly under the radar until he meets another girl named Georgia, who is also trying to fly under the radar and get through her senior year and just be done with everything. They meet, they fall in love. It sounds really good. I'm excited. Next on my list, I have Only Mostly Devastated by Sophie Gonzalez. This is about a boy named Ali who had a summer fling with another boy named Will, and Will ends up ghosting him. But after a family emergency, Ali and his family have to relocate, and Ali starts a new school. which he quickly finds out to be Will's school. But the thing is that Will at school is not the same Will that Allie knew over the summer, and it's really hard for him because this Will is very closeted and he's the class clown and kind of a jerk. So I feel like it's going to be kind of like an enemies to lovers kind of trope, because Allie is annoyed with this new Will, but I'm sure they end up falling in love. Maybe not. I don't know. It seems really short, so I'm sure I'll be able to fit this one in. And the last YA book that I'm just throwing in here because it's June 11th when I'm filming this, and so by the time this video goes up, I will have already finished this book. Actually, I finished it as of filming this, but I'm putting it in anyway because I loved it so much. I already read and finished Going Off Script by Jen Wild. They are the author of other lovely books like Queens of Geek and The Brightsiders. I haven't read The Brightsiders, but Queens of Geek is one of my favorite books that they have written. But this is a very close second. Honestly, Going Off Script might have overtaken Queens of Geek for first place books by Jen Wild. In this book, we followed a girl named Bex who picked up her life and moved to LA for an internship on the set of her favorite TV show. I will say that this story was heavily focused on Bex's journey to find her voice, not only to come to terms with her queerness, but also to come to terms with other aspects of her life that she was kind of running away from when she moved to LA. It was really fun to watch her character grow over the course of this book. One of the main plot points of this book is that Bex crafts her own script for an episode and passes it off to the writer, who in turn reworks it and passes it off as his own, which makes Bex upset, understandably. And it gets even worse when he reworks the script even further to write off her lesbian character as straight, which is a huge problem, and that's when Bex knows that she needs to take a stand. Let me just tell you, the last third of this book is so explosive. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I liked it a lot. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. The characters are really diverse. I think that I'm gonna end up doing a review for this book because I just adored it so much. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Okay, I have 2 middle grade books that I want to get to this month. The first one is Zenobia July by Lisa Bunker. This is an arc, or it was an arc. I got it at a used bookstore, and so there's not much about the story on the back, but I do know that it is a middle grade book about a trans girl that is trying to solve a cyber mystery, and that sounds really cool. I've only read one other middle grade book with a trans character, so I love to see these themes being explored more in books with younger audiences. And the last book that I hope to finish in June is Starcrossed by Bye Birdie. This, of course, is another middle grade about a girl named Maddie who is really excited to be cast in her school's production of Romeo and Juliet, and she's even more excited to share the stage with Gemma, who is playing Juliet, and she's wonderful and creative and smart, and Maddie starts crushing on Gemma, but it's hard for her because she's always had a crush on her classmate Elijah, so she's kind of having to come to terms with the fact that maybe she can like boys and girls, and I have not seen that addressed in middle grade, I don't think. So I love that. I have had this book recommended to me so many times, and I cannot wait to pick it up. I love queer middle grade so much, you guys. It just warms my little heart. So I can't wait to read this. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get to it sooner rather than later because I'm just too excited. So there you guys go. Those are the books that I am planning to read in June. Make sure you check my description to see all of the resources and videos that I have linked down below, because I think that it is incredibly important, if nothing else, to educate yourself on what is going on in the world and hear perspectives from people that are not white cis women. That's just me. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below for more bookish videos. That's all I got for you guys today, and I will see you next time. Bye!